everyone, I'm Heidi Blankenship and I'm a member of the 2016 ICE Resin Design team. And today I'm going to share a technique with you using one of these little gardening flower pots. It would be like what you put your seeds in or your little starter plants. And I'm going to show you how you can take that and with a few techniques create a really pretty home decor piece that has a vintage look and feel to it. So let's get started. Okay, before we get started with the technique, I just wanted to give you kind of a before and after look of the project. And this is like a gardening pot or a peat pot, and it would be what you would use to start your planters, like your seeds or else small little plants in them for gardening. So I took this, and this here was the end result that I created out of it. I took one and I did a technique on here with some gesso and a collage medium, and then topped it with ice resin and added some vintage lace and trims. And this here is also a piece that was done with ice resin in a mold. And then on top there's a nest, and the nest, it's kind of like a twig type of a moss, and I shaped the nest, and then I put rubber gloves on and put ice resin on the gloves and just kind of kept shaping the nest until I had the shape that I wanted. Okay, so this is a look here, and now we will get started on the technique. Okay, like I just showed you in the before and after picture, here is the peat pot, and this is what it looks like before you apply anything to it. And then I took and I applied a couple coats of white gesso on here and let that dry. And if you want, you can use your heat tool to help speed up the drying process of it, or you can just let it air dry. And if you don't happen to have gesso, you can also use just a white acrylic paint too. So, and then I also applied a layer of this distressed collage medium, and this is the crazing. And I was so excited to get this. I absolutely love the look of old vintage, dishes where it has like crackle and stuff, and the little teeny tiny crackle is called crazing. And I'll just give you a quick look here. It's just kind of a cloudy looking, but it dries clear, and you can't even really tell that it's on here. If you're just to look at it, you can't see it. It's not until you apply either inks or another type of medium to it. So what I did was I took some Perfect Pearls, and this is the cappuccino color. So I'm just going to open that up because everything is dry on here already now. And then I just took the brush and kind of tapped in there, and then I used the lid just to tap off some excess so it doesn't come off so heavy. And then I kind of pounced a little bit here and there. Now I know this looks very dark on here, but I just started rubbing kind of like in a circular motion. And as you do this on here, it's going to pick up the different areas where the crazing medium was applied. Okay. And you just kind of going to continue going all the way around here. This does get a little bit messy, but it's real easy to clean it up with a baby wipe and stuff. So, but this is going to pick up, it's going to give it kind of the pearl sheen to it. And then it's also going to pick up the little crackling in it and stuff. Let me see here if there's a spot where it's showing up really good that I can zoom in on. Sometimes the crackling part is so tiny that you're probably not getting a good shot of it from, there's a spot right there. I'm going to just hold this still, and then I'm going to zoom the camera in, see if you can see that. Can you see here where it's picking up like all that really tiny little crackle that's in there? Okay. So I'm going to finish applying the Perfect Pearls and the cappuccino around the rest of this little pot, and then once that's done, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how I applied the ice resin on top. Okay, so now here you can see I've finished putting the Perfect Pearls on, and you can see like some of the crazing, the little tiny crackling right in there. And I'm going to apply ice resin on the whole outside, even including the bottom, because I want this to dry really hard and be sturdy so it doesn't get crushed at all. And it's, you know, kind of a seasonal, like a spring piece, so I'll be able to, you know, keep it out and use it each year without having to worry about it crushing. And this does get a little bit messy when applying the resin to this, so I went ahead and put some gloves on, and I have some resin that I've already pre-mixed, and so I just used the little stir stick and add some on. And as you go, you will notice that when you're doing this, it does pick up a little bit of the tint from the Perfect Pearls, but it's not going to affect the outcome of your project and stuff. So you can see it here probably on the stir stick, a little bit of that Perfect Pearls is lifting up. So you're just going to take this and just keep applying it all over, and I'm kind of pushing down on the stick and dragging it across so it gets in all the little cracks and crevices on here. And then you can really start to see that crazing kind of pop once you put the ice resin on. So you can see a little bit of it that's right here. So I'm going to finish putting this on, and then I will be back to show you another little piece that I did for the resin piece that's on the front of the container that was in the mold. Okay, now one last thing that I wanted to show you. On this finished piece here, I have this molded piece of resin, and then I just painted over it with, it was a couple layers of the same gesso, this gesso here that I used to put the white coat on here. And on the last coat, I just kind of pounced with a brush because I wanted it to have a slight bit of texture to it and stuff. But as you can see, it's shaped to fit, to take that curve of the pot. And what I wanted to show you is this came out of this silicone mold, and it's actually this one here. And if you were to let that completely cure, it would be flat on the back. And I have another little piece that I did right here. Okay, but if you pop them out before it's completely cured, they are slightly flexible, as you can see here. Okay, so you can take this and you can bend and shape it to fit around another piece, just like I did on the front part of the pot here. Or if you were creating a jewelry piece or something, you can take and kind of shape and bend and mold it, and then you can glue it in place. So just a little tip for if you are using molds and have resin pieces out of them, that you can actually shape them. They don't have to just all lay flat, okay? And then another thing too, if you have extra resin left, whenever I'm creating any projects with ice resin, I always make sure that I have a mold or two handy, so that if I have excess ice resin, then I can go ahead and pour it into the mold so I'm not wasting any of my resin. So, okay, I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit here and hold this up and give you another last look at the project. And I hope you enjoyed the techniques that I shared with you today. And if you'd like to see more of my work, you can visit my blog at embellishedreams.blogspot.com, and you can also check out the Ice Resin blog for more inspiration from the design team. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.